Chapter 1. Looking back, the bomb in the frosting tub wasn't my best idea. A fact that my assistant, Laura Lee, reminds me of as often as she can. But good idea or not, I know this. Whenever I do a book signing, or give a talk, or do a public appearance of any kind, someone always wants me to tell them about the bomb, the frosting, and the Marv. My name is Delaney Dodge. Yep, that Delaney Dodge. And before I had my own show on celebrity food TV, before I published my first cookbook, and before I became famous for baking delicious desserts and solving murders, I was just a girl standing in front of her students, trying to grab their attention. I suppose people like to know the story behind the story. They want to know how everything started. Here's the short version. I grew up in Appleton Falls, an idyllic but sometimes suffocating tourist town where the Appleton River runs into the mighty Missouri on the southeastern edge of Nebraska. I am the only child of Walter and Cynthia Dodge. My parents are deliriously and sometimes nauseatingly in love, even after all these years. And though they gave me a happy home and nothing but the best, the teenage version of me often gave them nothing but problems in return. Those problems introduced me to Sheriff Maggie Duckworth. Once upon a time, Sheriff Duckworth had a long and rather painful conversation with me while I was locked inside her jail, and she made me an offer I could have refused, but I didn't. I cleaned up my act, went away to college, became a successful accountant, and worked in Houston after graduation. But though I had turned my life around and was good at what I did, numbers were never my true love. Baking was. Plus, I missed my parents. I missed my best friend Jamal. Much to my surprise, I missed my sometimes suffocating hometown. And so, when I had saved up enough money, I moved back to Appleton Falls to start my own business. It's called the Baking School Bakery. My dream from the beginning was simple, but ambitious, to run the best bakery in the Midwest and to teach people how to bake. After 4 years of hard, nail-splitting work, I established the baking school as a premier bakery in the region, firmly inserted myself into the Midwest's culinary scene, and purchased the building next to mine in order to expand my bakery. With the expansion, I added another kitchen containing 7 separate but fully functional cooking stations. 1 for me, the instructor, and 6 for my students. 15 years after Sheriff Duckworth and I had our conversation, on Tuesday evening of the second week of January, the school part of the Baking School Bakery was finally open for business. In the back row to my left was Sharon, a single woman my age who just recently moved to Appleton Falls. Next to her was Robbie, a recent high school graduate pursuing a culinary career. In the middle row were Donna, a short blonde woman in her late 50s, looking to raise the level of her grandma baking game, and Patricia, a busy mom trying to escape the chaos of her life for just one night. And in the front row were 2 local institutions, Gladys and Marv. They were neighbors who'd lived 5 houses away from each other for the last 30-some years. And they were, as usual, sniping at each other about one thing or another. I remembered what my dad, a retired biology teacher from the local high school, had told me a couple days before. You've got to find some way to grab your students' attention from the very beginning. And that brings me to the long version of the story. Does anyone know what this is? I said as I held a small plastic container in the air. Marv shot his hand up, and Gladys rolled her eyes. You don't have to raise your hand. She's 6 feet away from you. Marv squinted. 6 feet? Looks more like a mile. That's because you're older than dirt. You're just as old as me. Maybe, but I don't look or feel as old as you. How the heck do you know how I feel? Marv asked. Because you complain about it all the time. Oh, my sciatica. Oh, my back. I'll have you know I hurt my back in Vietnam.